Hi y'all, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira, and today guys, we are going to talk about the products that I tried in 2023 that disappointed me. I don't want to say that they made me upset or angry. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Let's get into it. All right, so when I was thinking about this video, there was one product that came up immediately in my mind, and I was like, this is it. This is the top of the tippy top. The thing that I tried that I hated the most in 2023. Now, I am not someone who, my feeling about makeup is this. Makeup has come a long way. It's very rare that there's a product that is absolutely horrible and like unusable and that you just feel like missed the mark completely. That very rarely happens because most companies and most brands nowadays can formulate a decent product. Now, will it be your cup of tea? That's a whole different argument, you know? But for me, this is a product that I genuinely loathe and I genuinely think is a bad product. And that is the Kosas Glow IV Vitamin Infused Skin Enhancer. I have the shade Boost, which is the sheer medium rose gold. This is meant to be sort of Kosas's version of like Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury. It says here that you can glow all over or wherever you feel it. Use alone or mix or layer with foundation. I did all three. I absolutely despise this product. It is dry. It has these really large glitter particles that stay on your face and just look cheap. You know, Hollywood Flawless Filter is glowy, but it's not, it doesn't have chunks of glitter in it. The sheen and the glow is from these really finely milled, it's like a micro sheen, you know? This is just straight up glitter in a tube. And what's interesting is it says that you can put it all over. I've done that. It just looks like I have like barely any coverage with a lot of glitter on my face. It says you can apply it wherever. It lifts whatever you put it over. If you have foundation on and you tap this on, lifts it up. You get no real glow. It just lifts up your base. Or you can mix it in with your foundation. Well, you can do that, and I've done that. If you want to completely change the texture of your foundation and then add a bunch of glitter to it. You want to change the texture, the finish, and the look of the foundation that you're using, and it be for the worst. If you want your skin to look dry but also glittery, mix this in with it. This was just a complete and total fail in my opinion. I don't know what they were going for with this, but for me, if this is a product that I'm supposed to be able to use 3 different ways and it doesn't work any of those ways, that's a problem. I've used Hollywood Flawless Filter. I'm not really a huge fan of those types of products. I've come to understand about myself, but I've used that product and I know how it performs, and I don't think this is anything like that, anything like it, especially when, and I'm going to talk about another product that is a dupe of that product, but I'm going to talk about my issues with it in relation to and in sort of like comparison to this one. So I'm going to talk about another product that kind of disappointed me this year, which was the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter Glow Booster for Radiant Skin. Now these are supposed to be basically like they're dupes of the Hollywood Flawless Filter, but this one does a better job of it. Having said that, it is still on this list, and let me tell you why. They have just come out with more shades of this, and I think that's for the best, because the main issue that I had with this is, do you see how dark this is? So the shade range for this was just it was weird. And honestly, the shade range for Hollywood Flawless Filter for a really long time was weird. Charlotte eventually came out with more shades, which is great, but I feel like, I don't know what e.l.f. was thinking, because this is supposed to be, this is tan, I believe. What is this? This is shade 5 medium tan. This is too dark for me, but the shade above it is way too light and the shade below it was way too dark. And then on top of that, I do feel like this is quite thick. Hollywood Flawless Filter is on the thicker side as well. For me, getting this product and trying it made me realize that I don't really like these types of products. I was a little interested in trying the newer shade. Like, they came out with another shade that probably would be the better shade for me. But at this point, I don't see the point in wasting my money to try a product that is the type of product that I don't use. You know what I mean? I want to be the kind of girl who's like, oh, let me just put a little glowy something, something. But I'm not. I'm really not. And I just need to understand that and just, you know, face that fact for myself. But for me, the main issue with this was the shade range. Again, they've since fixed that, but I feel like that should have been done maybe before they release it. e.l.f. is a pretty large brand, and they're kind of hit their stride recently, and they've been pretty successful with a lot of their launches. And I just feel like they should have just come out with a bigger range to begin with, because I feel like a lot of people, including me, were kind of turned off by the fact that they couldn't find a shade for themselves. And so I don't see, we bought one shade and we're like, this is kind of not going to work for me. We're not going to then go out and buy a new one. You know what I mean? So they should have just released all the shades at once. Next up is a foundation that this has been sitting sideways, and I had like a little container of things that I was going to talk about, and it's been sitting there for a little while. So this is like, this foundation, I don't hate. I just feel like it's kind of blah. It was disappointing in the sense that I was looking for something. This is a tinted serum. This is the L'Oreal Paris True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. I bought this around the same time that I bought the other L'Oreal foundation that came out, and I wound up buying 2 shades of that because I was kind of in between. So I have 2 shades of it, but that one is more of like a traditional foundation, but I feel that applies better on the skin and looks more natural than this one does, which is saying something. I just don't. This is a nothing burger to me. When I put it on, it just feels like I have foundation on. There's nothing special about it. I don't feel like it gives my skin this glow. I don't feel like my skin is plumped. I don't feel like it's like your skin but better. It just is like a product that doesn't do a whole lot. And so it's like, is it a tint or is it a foundation? Because it does have quite a lot of coverage to it. But again, it's a nothing burger. I just feel like it does nothing. It does nothing of what it says it's going to do. You know, it doesn't give your skin like a instant radiance with a nude skin effect. Instantly feels hydrated. Skin looks healthier over time. My skin didn't look more hydrated. My skin it didn't give my skin a radiance. It was just sort of like a medium coverage foundation. Staying in the complexion range here is another foundation that I bought because my friend Hannah, she liked this foundation. And I trust Hannah's opinion, and the way she described it was kind of what I was in the market for at that time. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. First time I bought it, I bought the wrong shade. And I was like, good Lord. So then I was like, well, I'm never gonna know how this looks because it's so dark. I'm not gonna use this on my face. So then I bought the right shade and I hate it. This is the RMS Beauty Revolved Natural Fitness Foundation. And this is the shade 44. I have it in the 55 theme because I had bought the whole component and I wasn't going to buy the whole component again. So I just bought the refill of the right shade and took the other shade out. So I have 2 of these now, neither of which I like. I don't like the formula, and one's too dark for me. So this was just an all-around fail. This was an all-around fail for me. This is like, you know what this reminds me of? This, in a heavier sense, it's heavier in my opinion, of the Shiseido Synchro self-refreshing Synchro foundation that everybody raved about and everyone loved, and then I bought it and I hated that foundation. I tried so hard to get it to work for me, and I don't have skin that's like my skin doesn't like reject foundation, except that one and a couple of other, like the first Fenty foundation. My skin hated that foundation, and this is what that was when I had really oily skin, so that was perplexing to me. But yeah, the issue that I had with that foundation is the same as the one that I had with this one, except this one is heavier, and I didn't like that. This foundation does weird things where it breaks up all around my mouth, all on my chin, and it just looks like you know how when your foundation breaks down and just kind of looks like curdled foundation on your chin, and it's just gross looking and you're like, what? That's what that was doing around my chin and around my mouth. And then everywhere else, it was just greasy looking. So it was like greasy and then like dry curdled. I don't have dry skin. Okay, so I'm like, what is happening? So then I was like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I need to hydrate a little bit more with this foundation. Maybe this is a foundation that needs a little bit more skin prep, just a little bit more. So I would prep my skin a little bit better. And keep in mind that I was wearing this in the spring going into summer. So it wasn't even like dry temperature per se. It was actually, that's when Chicago is actually quite humid. So I was like, okay, I'll prep, I'll try to, minimize the oil production here and maximize my hydration here. So I was, I was tinkering and trying different things. I was setting with a dewy setting spray. I was doing all the things. Every single time I wore this, it did the exact same thing. Curdled and broke up around my mouth, grease ball city at the rest of my face. And then on top of that, because it would oxidize, so it would oxidize from like here up, but dry and crusty here. I was like, it's a no-go for me. It's a no for me, dog. And this is me. This is after I tried. It's just like the Shiseido. I tried so hard to get it to work because I wanted it to work. I spent my money on it. I'm like, other people really love this. I've heard so many raves. Same with Shiseido. I was like, I heard so many raves. What's going on? I tried so hard. And then finally I was like, we just don't get along. I had stopped using it for a while and I started using another foundation that I absolutely loved. And you know how when you're trying to make something work and then you use a product that just works and you're like, why am I wasting my time trying to make something work? So, and this video is also a great preview, you guys, for my declutter videos that are coming up. This is a great preview. This kind of gives you an idea of what's definitely going. There might be other things, I'm sure, but this video is like a definite, they not living here no more video. Okay. All right. And finally, now I just said that whole definitive, these ain't living here no more. And this one, I'm kind of on the fence because this is the thing. It's one of those situations where I'm like, this product perplexes me because I don't hate it, but I don't love it, but I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's bad. I don't know. It's so weird. This is the Say Beauty. What is this called? It's the Say Beauty concealer. I have the shade HB5. It's weird. It's like heavy. The actual like formulation, the feel of it is heavier on the skin. Like when you use it, it's got some like bounce to it. It's got almost like a gel-like texture to it. So I always expect it to have more coverage than it does. So when I use it, I'm like, where's the coverage? But it's interesting. It reminds me of, in texture, it reminds me a bit of I want to say the Tower 28, but the Tower 28 is a really good concealer, or a good concealer. I wouldn't say it's like amazing. I have other concealers that I like more than that one, but I do like that one and I have been wearing it quite a bit. It's like that texture, but not the coverage. So it's like you feel like it gives the feeling that you're gonna have more coverage than you do. So when you put it on, you're always like, it's perplexing. It's a perplexing product. And I'm still on the fence if I'm gonna declutter it or not because I haven't gotten that much use out of it. Like the handful of times I've used it, I was just so like, I was just so confused. This confuses me. And now let's talk blushes, because there was a blush range that was released this past summer. Yeah. That I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this. I just knew it. I bought 2 shades right out the gate. I'm like, this is gonna be the thing for me. And it was not the thing for me. It was probably my least favorite blush product that I've tried in a really, 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 really long time. And there's another blush product that I dislike that I'm also going to talk about, that I dislike these more, and there's a reason for it. The other one, I'll get into why I dislike it. Actually, there's 2. But this one, I think it makes me sadder because I was so excited to try. And that is the Nars Afterglow Liquid Blush. I have 2 shades. I have Behave and Wanderlust. I wanted to make these work, guys, and I did like wear them and try them. And the issue for me is the formula is just not, in my opinion, is not formulated for melanated skin. It is so sheer that even though it has pigment, it is so sheer that when I put it on and blend it out, it blends into nothing. Nothing on my skin. Nothing. I've seen it on other people. I've seen it on people who are paler than me, and it looks beautiful. It gives this like really beautiful wash of like sheer color. And so for me, I was like, okay, well, it's sheer, but when you look at it, it has pigment to it. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just like once you blend it out, it gives you this sheer sort of wash, which I was here for, you know. I was like, oh yes, that's exact, yes, give me that. No. These just blend into nothing. And I did get two of the lighter tones because I was looking for less rich colored blushes at that time. I was looking for like that really like pink soft flush. And I was looking for purple blushes specifically because I've been on a purple blush kick. I'm still kind of on one, but I've kind of taken a break. But this one I was like, well, I want to see if this blends out to a pink or if it blends out to, you know, it kind of looks like the one that I have from Too Faced. That's a powder. And I was like, this could actually work for me. It might blend out more pink, but I'm really curious about it. Well, no. It doesn't blend out into a pink on me. It just blends out into nothing. Like here it looks so pigmented on my hand. On my face, it disappears. I don't know what. And maybe it's because, you know, when I'm putting it on my face, I have foundation on, I have bronzer on. You know, this is just my bare hand, so it doesn't really have anything to, there's nothing sort of blocking my skin from the blush, and maybe that's why I get that sort of like really lovely color on my hand, but I don't get that on my face at all. Like at all. Behave doesn't even show up on my face. I'm gonna put it on my hand and see if I blend it out on my hand, if it'll show up once I blend it out. Like barely. You see what I mean? It's even worse on my face. Like it just disappears. And so I'm like, wow, I just spent how much on these two blushes that don't even do anything on my face. Like it's like I put slightly colored water, and not even colored because you can't see the pigment. So yeah, I think these are great if you are of the pale persuasion and you just want like that wash of color. And I don't know about the other tones. I only tried these two, and I'm not willing to spend any more money to investigate at this point. These are the ones that made me really sad because I was really excited for this type of formulation. And ironically, I'm wearing a serum blush today that I love that is from Revlon, and I'll put what I'm wearing on my face in the you know, description box down below. But I'm wearing a serum blush, and this glow that you see and this kind of flush is from that blush. So it is possible to get a serum blush like the Cosmetics ones, those little serum blushes. Those are so pigmented on my face, it's ridiculous. The liquid blushes from Rare Beauty, I mean, we all know how pigmented those are. So it's the idea that you couldn't get a pigment out of that kind of formulation is just like not true. And so this for me just means the formula is just not good for anyone of, you know, anyone my skin tone or deeper. Another blush, and I have two more blushes to talk about, but this one is from Valentino. When I saw this, I was like, oh my God. And this is supposed to be a lip and cheek product. This is the Liquid Rosso, and it's a liquid lipstick, but it's also supposedly, allegedly, can be used as a blush. I had added this to my fall makeup capsule because I really wanted to give this a shot again, because I had only tried it as a lip product and absolutely despised it. And so I was like, let's try it as a blush. And again, absolutely despised it. So I have the shade, I think this is When in Rome, I think this one. This is what it looks like. It's this beautiful, I mean, look at this tone. Look at the tone. I was like, oh my gosh. And all the promo photos of this on the girl's lips, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna love that. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. This product on the lips, it's, first of all, it looks pigmented here. It is so sheer, guys, and it doesn't build up well. It's kind of like that moussey formula, which I don't like, generally, and I didn't know that that's, but when I was applying it, I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense, because if you can wear it as a blush, you'd have to be able to blend it out, right? It is so patchy. It's patchy on the lips, it's patchy on the cheeks. I can't build it up. I found that when I was putting it on my lips and trying to build it up, it was just getting streaky. It looked weird. And then on the cheeks, it was weird. And in building up on the cheeks, it just felt patchy. Like I could never get a full cohesive, like blended out look on the cheeks, and I couldn't get it to like look opaque and even on the lips. Not to mention that I don't like the finish on the lips. I don't like the feel of it. It's that moussey texture, but it's like that moussey texture that's really dry. So you put it on, and the more you put on, the drier your lips look and feel. It was a no-go, guys. It was a no-go. So yeah, this was a waste of money. Yeah. All right, and the final blush product that I am putting in this list of disappointing products is the Half Magic Beauty Cheek Fluff, and I have it in the shade Only Drama. I did a video trying out Half Magic Beauty. You guys who saw it probably know that I was underwhelmed by most of it. There was a few products that I liked, but most of it I was pretty underwhelmed. So this is what it looks like. I still have it in the little packaging here. Patch City for me. And maybe it's the tone, you know, but at that point I was looking for a sort of berry purpley toned, plummy purpley toned blush, which is why I bought this. And it just made me look like I had bruises on my cheeks, and it was patchy. The color like blended on my skin tone, blended into something completely different from what I was expecting it to be. I just wasn't feeling it. And yeah, for me, this was just maybe more of the more natural toned blushes would be easier to blend. But when you're creating colors like this, in my opinion, they all should be able to blend, you know. And on me, I just felt like this was just Patch City. So yeah, that was a fail for me and a disappointment. I have this mascara from L'Oreal. It is the L'Oreal Voluminous Brown Balm Mascara. So this mascara is supposed to be like a balm mascara. I don't know why we need a balm mascara, but that is what it is. And the thing that really got me about this one was the tone, because the brown is like the perfect brown. Like, as much as I dislike the product itself, the tone of brown, do you see what I mean? Like, it's brown. It's not black, and it's also not like that weird reddish toned brown. It's like a nice browny brown, you know, that you can actually see. But the product is terrible. It's this weird balm, and honestly, it's dried out quite a bit since like I used it. But basically, you would put the tube in and you'd get like these like balls of like product, because it is a balm. It's not a liquid. And so I found that like the formula doesn't like spread evenly on the brush or on the brows, and I was getting like these weird like lumps, not like your brows clumping together, just like lumps of product just hanging out on my lashes. And then on top of that, I didn't feel like I could get a lot of like volume or length, because you have to, you know, when you use a mascara, if you want more length, more volume, you can layer, you know, you can create layers. With this, the more you layered, the more of the little clumps you got. Like, it didn't do anything to the actual lashes. It didn't volumize, it didn't lengthen. It just added more product onto your lash. It's almost like it was lifting up the product underneath and just clumping together. You know, with mascaras, I'm always one of those people's like, I always take it with a grain of salt the first time I use a mascara, because we all know mascaras change over time. And what a mascara is like when you first open it can be very different from what it's like, you know, a month from now. I used this for 2 months straight and I hated it from beginning to end. I was like, this is just not good. Like, I'm trying to give it, and the thing is that the longer that it was open, because it's a balm and not a liquid, the drier it got and the less product I was able to actually get on my lashes at all. So like this, I've had this for a while. I've been holding on to it. There's still a lot of product in here. This is so, can you hear that? There's like product in here, but this is how dry it is. That's how dry that is. There's like nothing. You can see it on the edges, like, huh? I'm just perplexed. A lot of these products were just perplexing. And finally, guys, I want to talk about this palette. And when I first used this palette, I actually really enjoyed it. But the more that I got use out of it, the less I liked it. And I think it's because it is not what I would call a user-friendly palette. I think it was created with the intention to be user-friendly, but I think it's more user-friendly if you are a makeup artist, which makes sense because this is from a brand created by a makeup artist who creates products that, for the longest time, created products that were very makeup artist focused, but has moved more into mainstream in the last few years. This is the Denessa Myrix Groundworks palette. Now, this is what it looks like. I kind of talked myself into this palette, and my feelings on it are mixed. I will say that I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't love it as much as when I first tried it, and I don't love it as much as I was expecting to love it, and I haven't really reached for it all that much after that initial burst of like using it a ton. I just think it is not a consumer product, and I feel like it has a very long learning curve. I don't feel necessarily that you can sit down with this and immediately know what to do with it. You know what I mean? Because of the textures, but also because of the pigmentation. The pigmentation is kind of sheer all across the board, and you have to build it up, which is fine. But when you're giving something that's like a powder and a cream, you're going to assume that the powder is more pigmented than the cream. That is not the case. Additionally, this is supposed to be a palette that you can use all over your face, which I sat down and tried to do, and I could not do, mainly because the tones. There is not a single tone in here that would work as a bronzer for me. This is too orange. This actually reads quite light. This is too, obviously too orange. This is black. This is too browny in tone. It's just, there's nothing here. I could do contour, probably, maybe, by mixing a couple of shades, but like this one and maybe that one. But I can't do a bronzer. When I tried to do liner with this, wing liner, I found that it took a lot to build it up. I just think I am not a makeup novice, but I'm also not a makeup professional, and I'm not like I'm not a certified, you know, I'm not an accredited, I didn't go to accredited school. I don't have a certification or degree or anything like that, or a lot of experience doing makeup on other people other than myself, you know? And I feel like this is a product that is good if you are someone who does, like if you are a makeup artist who does like weddings and things like that, I think this is a great purchase. I don't think it's a bad product. I just don't think it's a product that is made for makeup enthusiasts and makeup novices. You know what I mean? Like, it would take a lot to sit down and figure this out. All right, guys, so that is everything that is on my makeup disappointments of 2023. Let me know in the comments down below. Did you try any of these products? Did you have some similar experiences as I did? Or better yet, tell me what are some of the products that you tried this year and you were like, it's a no for me, dog. Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed today's video, guys, please be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.